Welcome to the Indie Film Hustle Podcast, episode number 18. The only safe thing is to take a chance. Mike Nichols.
Broadcasting from the back alley in Hollywood, it's the Indie Film Hustle Podcast, where we show you how to survive and thrive as an indie filmmaker in the jungles of the film biz. And here's your host, Alex Ferrari.
Thank you guys for listening to another episode of the Indie Film Hustle Podcast. Remember, head on over to freefilmbook.com. That's freefilmbook.com to get your free audiobook and you can choose from over 40,000 different titles. So that's my gift to you guys. Today is an episode I think that's long overdue. It's something that a lot of first-time filmmakers make mistakes. And this is kind of in my series of pitfalls and things to kind of look out for. This is just based on my experience as a filmmaker and as a post guy as well, seeing it from other filmmakers' point of view. But today's story and today's topic is something I learned the hard way at the very, very beginning of my career, is not to hire a cinematographer based on gear and gear alone. And that is a mistake a lot of first-time filmmakers or filmmakers in general make, because they get glassy-eyed when a DP shows them a new red, or I have an Alexa, or this and that. So I want to talk to you a little bit about what a cinematographer is, and I'm sure I'll go over it really quickly because I'm sure most of you know what a cinematographer is, but I have the utmost respect for cinematographers and cinematography. It is a very difficult job. As a colorist, I see what they do. I see a lot of times people see the final image and they don't realize how difficult the day of the shoot was, or that production didn't give them the lights that they need, or their assistant camera sucked that day, or a million other things, but the DP gets blamed for it, especially in the color room, because all you see is the final image. So it's the DP's job to make sure that final image looks as good as possible, regardless of the problems. But it's a lot of times a thankless job in many ways. It's great. They praise you when you do good and they destroy you when you do bad. So it's a tough job. So I have the utmost respect for cinematographers. Now, with that said, the explosion of low-cost camera gear and lighting gear has exploded the number of quote-unquote cinematographers in the marketplace all around the world, not just Los Angeles, all around the world. I had this happen to me in Miami, but as well as other places as well, around the world as well, here in Los Angeles as well. So the problem is that nowadays people say, well, if you bought a red, does that make you a cinematographer? Because let's say I have $150,000 burning a hole in my pocket, and I go out and buy a full-blown Dragon system, full set of lenses, the best money can buy, and then I also have a $50,000 grip truck with every piece of lighting known to man. You would assume that someone who's purchased all of this gear would know what they're doing. But time and time again, I've realized that that's not necessarily the case. So when you hire a DP, you must look at their work. You must interview them. You must understand it, if they understand the kind of budget level you're at, because you can get an Academy Award-winning DP, but if they're used to playing with very big toys and your budget is $100,000, it's not a good fit. So that's on a side note, but I'm going to tell you the story of what happened to me when I first got in the business. Shot my very first big thing. I was shooting back in the early 90s. I was shooting on film, 35 millimeter film, believe it or not. And I knew this company that happened to have film cameras, lighting kits. They had a whole business shooting a bunch of different things. They have a sound stage, everything, all in Miami. And these guys wanted some new cool stuff on their reel. So I told them, look, if you guys jump on board, I'll give you a copy of it for your reel, and blah blah blah, and we all kind of work together. But on the outset, it looked like these guys knew what they were doing. I mean, they had a full business doing it. What I didn't realize is the business that they were in was kind of like infomercial kind of lighting and corporate video kind of stuff. They had no idea how to do a high-end fashion Nike commercial, which is what I was doing, and I did 3 commercials with them. And I was shooting 35, and they had 35 millimeter cameras, and it cost me about $50,000 to do my demo reel, which was about Well, it ended up being 5 commercial spots when it was all said and done. So I packaged them all out to do them in like 5 days, and and try to do it as affordably as possible, because there was no digital anything back then. It was like I was barely able to edit this on an Avid back in the day. But anyway, so we went to start shooting, and I didn't get one DP. I got 2 DPs. And now my crew was top notch. I had a good producer who was working with me, and she basically inherited these DPs and all their gear. She didn't choose them. She didn't know, and she was a seasoned professional. After day one, the crew, day one, excuse me, hour one, the crew walked off the set from them, because they said, we're not working with these guys. These guys are idiots. They have no idea what they're doing. So the producer had to talk them back, blah blah, because the crew was actually a professional film crew, but these guys were complete idiots. And what happened is, if you ever are on a set with 2 DPs, you need to run away. There's no reason for 2 DPs ever, at all. There is a DP, there's a grapher. That's standard. But 2 actual director of photographies with credits as director of photographies, both of them talking about how they're going to light the scene. It is absolutely insanity. The crew members, for years later, after I worked with them on many other projects, they kept referring to them as the 2 monkey DPs, because they would just jump all over the set. They used to use a light meter, and they would check the light meter 50 times a minute to see how their lighting was, and they would pull out 400 lights from their massive grip truck to light this scene. And the crew was like, what are these guys doing? So I was pushing the envelope. I was shooting very unique stock of film. I actually gave them a booklet that I created on how to shoot this stock of film. It was called reversal film stock, to get some very unique looks. And I even felt that they didn't know, they've never shot anything like this before. So I did all the research to have them understand it. And then I was on top of them a lot of times, because I'm technical. So I was always like, what's your f stop, and how is it, and what are you doing, and all this kind of stuff. So fast forward to the end of this thing. One of the commercials came out so horribly bad, that I literally burned the negative. I didn't give it to them. I actually went outside of my house, opened up a big metal pan, dumped the 35 millimeter negative there, and burned it, because I never wanted to let anyone see this, let alone them get their hands on it, because they would have promoted it as their work, and I didn't want my name attached to anything like that. So I had to then reshoot a bunch of stuff with another DP who was actually a real DP, who also had his own camera, but I saw his work and he came highly recommended, and so on and so forth. But that experience taught me that you never hire a cinematographer based on the gear that he brings. The gear that he brings is a huge plus. Nowadays, these owner-operators are becoming the norm, because you can hire a DP who owns a Red camera, and that's just part of his day rate. Or owns an Alexa, or owns his own lens packages, and those are costs that you don't have to incur. And the DP's doing that because that way he gets more work, or she gets more work, and that's wonderful. And there's a lot of DPs. I did an interview with my good friend Suki, who's in the ASC, amazing cinematographer. He owns his own Alexa camera, because he wants to own his own Alexa camera, and it makes him a more valuable DP because he has his own camera. Because now almost every DP has his own packages. Even the biggest DPs will have. I was talking to Guillermo del Toro's DP's right hand man, who's a good friend of mine, and they own 20 Alexas and 15 or 20 Reds, and they rent it out, and it's just part of their business plan now. So there's nothing wrong with a DP that owns their own gear, but you can't hire them based solely upon the gear that they bring to the table. And that goes with anybody, with anything. A sound guy that has all the greatest gear, I've had bad experiences with that as well. You can't hire people based on the gear that they bring. You have to make sure that they can do the job right. I would rather hire someone who doesn't have their own gear, who could do the job right and rent the gear somehow, or hopefully find someone that has both together. So a word of warning, don't hire people based on their gear. Look at their work, interview them, ask for references, because I'm telling you, you will get burned. You will get burned badly. And I did it on a small, commercial shoot. $50,000 not small to me, but comparatively to $1 million movie, $500,000 movie, or feature, small. I did 30-second spots. So if I would have done a full short film with them, been with these guys for 3-4 weeks on a feature, I would have shot somebody. Literally, I think. And I think the crew would have probably done the job for me. So don't hire monkey DPs. No, I'm joking. Just like I said before, hire people based on their merit and on their skill, on their reel, and on the personality, if they mix with you or not. Because the DP is your right hand guy as a director, as a filmmaker. If you don't mix with your DP, it's going to be a long, 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 long shoot. So make sure, and it's kind of like dating, before you jump in to marriage, you should date them, talk to them, really get to know them. Make sure you're making the right decision, because it is a relationship that you will have, an intense relationship you will have for the duration of your shoot, whether that be a few days, which is not that big of a deal, but if you're on a feature, could be extremely detrimental to your final product. Or absolutely beneficial if you hire the right person, because a DP can also save your butt if you're not a technical director and compose shots for you, and you can handle the actors and things like that. There's a lot of things a good DP brings to the table, and it's imperative to have a good DP when shooting a feature film. So I hope this story, the word of warning, helped you guys. I hope that you will hire people based on their merit and not on the gear that they bring to the table, no matter how beautiful the gear is. Don't care what new Red it is. Don't care what Alexa it is. Don't care anything. And same goes for post. Just because a guy owns a full-blown color system, make sure he knows what he's doing. Make sure he's colored a bunch of movies. Make sure he understands how to deal with your kind of file format. I mean, it goes with every crew member that brings gear or has gear to bring to the table. All right. So I hope it was helpful to you guys. Thanks for listening. Remember, head on over to iTunes. You could just go to indiefilmhustle.com/iTunes and leave me an honest review on the podcast. It really helps us out a lot to get these reviews, and helps us get the word out on Indie Film Hustle. So thanks again for your time, guys. Keep hustling. Keep making your movies. Don't let your dream fall to the wayside. You got to keep going no matter what. All right? Thanks again, guys. Talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to the Indie Film Hustle podcast at indiefilmhustle.com. That's INDIEFILMHUSTLE.com.